Hi geometry students, and thank you for watching this video on homework and tests protocol. I've prepared this because just in the last couple of weeks I have gotten in work from some of you that it really has not met my expectations. Also, most of you are in high school now, and there's just an expectation that the work would be done in a certain way in order to prepare you for college, because every college professor you have and every boss that you have is going to want things done a certain way. And the sooner you learn how to do the way they want things done, the better off it will be for you. So I've prepared this. You can go back and look at it at any time. It'll stay up on Sycamore. But this is for homework and tests. As you turn things into me, this is what I expect. So first of all, we want to have you do the heading. Upper left-hand corner, you need to put your name, the date, the subject, and my name. Sometimes things get lost in the office as they're being put in your family mail, and it's nice to have all of this information. If the volunteers know that it's from my class, then they can get it back to me. Also, you need to put your full name, first name and last name, and then the date that you're doing this, or that it appears on the has is actually the most helpful. Then the second thing you need to do is to put the page number in the upper right-hand corner. And here is a sample. We have John Smith. He did his work on September 25th, geometry for Mrs. Jernigan, and here's the page number. Now, the reason that this is so important is that this year I am getting 4 to 5 assignments from you guys once a week. And so when you turn in that many sheets of paper times 16 of you, last week I think I had about 100 sheets of paper. I had a lot of sheets of paper that weren't stapled, like an assignment that maybe took 2 sheets of paper. It wasn't stapled. I had things that didn't have page numbers on and some that didn't have names on it. Now remember that your work gets divided up and sent to 2 geometry graders. So it is really important that the work is readable, that we have page numbers so that they don't get confused. So just make sure you're putting those page numbers. This is the page number that's written on the has. It's also going to be important to have those page numbers on there because I copy them down onto a little placard that I am going to be putting in front of some little boxes that will be sitting on the tables when you come into class. So you will be coming in at 11 o'clock on Wednesday morning, and right in the front of the sanctuary there's a table set up, and from now on that table is it'll either be on the table or the first bench, but it will have a little box there, 4 little boxes. And each little box will have page numbers on it. It will be up to you to find the work that has that page number, and you will put it in that box. Now, if you're missing something, that should also be a clue to you. If you don't have an assignment to put in a certain box, then you need to go look for it when you get home. So look for that to begin the week of October 7th. Now, some of the other things that I want to see is that I want you to work down the side of the paper and not across the top. And I'll show you some samples in just a minute. Take your paper, fold it in half long ways, and then draw a line down the middle. And start on the left side. Some people, draw that line just so that it'll keep them working just on the left side. Place a number for each problem. So if you're working on number 14 in the book, write number 14. If it's a regular math problem, please write the problem out. If it's a word problem or a picture or graph, then you do not have to write it on your paper. Show any work you need to do right in that space. I know I get a lot of kids that don't want to show work, and right now with geometry there's not as much work to show, but if there is work to be done, please show it. Once you have a final answer, please circle or highlight it so that the grammar grader knows your answer. I've had a couple grammar graders that have said they tried to figure out the method and what the answer was, but were unsuccessful. Once you've worked down the side of one column, you can go up to the other side and work down, or you can go ahead and flip it to the back, whatever works for you. But just don't work along straight across the top and then straight across the next line. Now let me just say that as we get to working on proofs or needing to recite postulates or theorems within the homework as part of it, you could have multiple pages. Some of you will use graph paper, and you'll just give that to me kind of loose. Any homework that has multiple pages should be stapled. So on Monday, when you do page 42 to 43, anything associated with that Monday, page 42 to 43 should be stapled. Please don't give me loose leaf graph paper if that's what you used. Then on Tuesday, when you do your homework, if it's 48 and 49, and it took you 3 pages to get it all done, please staple all the pages together. Unfortunately, so many pages get lost, and then the grammar graders will write on your paper incomplete, and you won't get all the points. So make sure that you staple, and if you have the multiple pages, make sure the page number and your last name are also on that. Once you've completed your work, you should go to the back of the book, find the answer section, and check all you can. If you want the answers to the evens, please let me know, and I'll just take a picture of them and send them to you. You don't have to check the evens, but if you're struggling and you've done, you want to know, then just let me know, and I'll make sure that I get those to you. As you are checking, you should put a check mark. So when you're checking to see if they're right or wrong, you should put a check mark or an X mark. If it is wrong, try to figure out why it's wrong and fix it. Once you have checked, please staple everything together. Please check to make sure there's a page number and your last name on each page. And place it when you come into class on Wednesday. You're going to see 4 bins, and you're going to place it in the appropriate one. This will help our volunteers as they sort all of the homework and get it to the geometry graders. Now let me show you some samples of what I want. So this is from some of our classmates, and we see some check marks right here. Notice this person did not check the evens, which is fine. They don't have to. The geometry graders will. So they'll go through and they will check these, and sometimes they'll even put in the answers or how to do it. So if you can't check the evens, know that your geometry graders will be checking those. But this student did check, and I'm sure that if there were any wrong, they fixed them. Notice here that this student has the correct answers in a box, also did the checking. So the geometry grader will know exactly what the answer is. Now let me show you some samples of what I don't want. So here we have someone who is working along the top. So here's 15, 16, probably 17, 18, and then 19. The grader was not even sure what these went to. So it's just very hard when you're working one line, then the next line, then the next line. It's much, much easier for us to read if we're working down the paper. Here's one. It was just really hard to figure out what the student was doing. It's hard to read the writing. It's imperative that you work on your neatest handwriting. You need to use a number 2 pencil or darker. If you use a light pencil, it's sometimes very difficult to read, especially in older eyes, which the geometry graders are probably in their 30s, but I'm much older than that. So sometimes it's really hard to read. So make sure you have number 2 or harder pencils that will give a nice dark line. The point scale for your work, if you turn the work in exactly as I have asked and work is complete, all required problems are done, unless you've talked to me about modifying, and that you need to talk to me about, not your parents. You've checked it or you put an X mark. It's neat. Your name, the page numbers are included. You get all 10 points. And it's pretty easy. It's pretty hard to fail this class if you're getting all the 10 points. If you have a few problems missing, you didn't talk to me about it ahead of time, it's missing your name, page number, whatever, you will get 8 to 9 points. If more than half of the work is missing or it's too messy for the graders to read, and they will let me know, or maybe you did all the work but you didn't check it, you might get 6 to 7 points. If only a few problems were tried or there are more than one missing element, like if you did 4 of the 20 problems, you didn't check them, you're probably only going to get 4 to 5 points. Please note that homework is given late points for each school day that is not brought in. Now, you do have the option, if you do not bring it in, please talk to me, and there might be another time that you can get it to me. Perhaps you have a sibling that comes on Monday, or perhaps I see you at church, or perhaps I'm going to see you at a field trip. There might be another time to get it in so that perhaps we don't have to lose so many points. If an assignment has been missing for more than 2 weeks, it is given a 0. And I do take this very seriously in high school. Middle schoolers might be given a little bit more leniency there, but for the most part, our high schoolers, the expectation is that you're getting it in when it's due. So there you have it. You know exactly what I want. You've seen a couple of samples. Here's the samples we want to follow. Whoops. We want nice, neat, nice and dark. I can read it. Circled answers, check marks. And the samples I don't, while these are circled, and so kudos to this student for circling them, it's still a little bit hard to tell. Here's number 16 circled, but then here's an answer circled. Here's 19 circled, and here's an I don't know what's an answer and what is the number for the problem that we're doing. And then here, just neatness. So work on these things. Go back and watch this if you get confused. Let me know if you have questions. And I will expect to see all of your homework coming in from now on done in this format. Also, let me just make a note. I provided a video for you today from Khan Academy. I am experimenting with some different videos. I'm a little concerned about the test scores from the Chapter 1 test, and while we will be reviewing, I am watching some videos myself just to get some tips on how to perhaps teach this better. So I did put up a Khan Academy video. I'm hoping that some of the interactions that he has on the, he has a blackboard that he uses, but hoping that maybe he explains things a little bit better. So let me know feedback for that. And I will plan to see you Wednesday.